Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to take that stack of research you've got and, well, make sense of it fast. Today, we're tackling something pretty confusing in the crypto space, the project called Beam.
Yeah, we need to jump right on this. Because honestly, when people say Beam, they could mean one of two totally different projects. Same name, sometimes even the same ticker symbol. Confusingly enough, it's a real headache if you're trying to figure out what's what.
Right. So not competitors, just a naming coincidence. One's for Web3 gaming, has big money behind it, and the other, a layer 1 blockchain, all about privacy, using some pretty advanced crypto stuff, completely separate worlds.
Exactly. So our job today, cut through that confusion. We'll look at each one separately. We'll use our usual framework. What's the problem? What's the idea? How does it actually work? What are the benefits for you? What are the risks? And a quick summary. Goal is to give you, the listener, a really clear picture of both.
Okay, let's start with the one with the big investment fund behind it, the Merit Circle DAO project, the gaming one. So Merit Circle's gaming focus. What problem, what real issue is this Beam trying to fix? For developers, sure, but also for regular players.
Okay, it hits two main things. For players, it's about ownership, or rather, the lack of it.
Yeah.
Think about all the time. Maybe money you pour into games, buying skins, grinding levels, but you don't really own that stuff, do you? The game studio does. They shut down your account, poof, it's gone. That's the problem Beam wants to solve, giving you true digital ownership.
Ah, yeah. Anyone who's ever lost access to an account knows exactly that feeling. Okay, and for the game developers, what's their headache?
For them, blockchain is, well, it's tough. You need special skills to integrate it. But maybe even bigger. Choosing which blockchain to build on is a huge gamble. What if it gets slow or expensive or just falls out of favor? They need something easier to use and, crucially, more flexible.
Makes sense. So how does Merit Circle propose fixing this? What's the big idea? Got an analogy for us?
The core goal is to be this universal chain-agnostic layer for Web3 games. So it doesn't matter which base blockchain you ultimately use. The analogy. Think of Beam, like building a super-fast, private VIP lane on the main crypto highway. This lane is technically an Avalanche Subnet. That means it's a piece of blockchain dedicated just to gaming, built for speed, low delays.
A dedicated racetrack, not just a regular road. Got it.
Exactly. But here's the really interesting part, the funding. This VIP lane, it's backed by the Merit Circle DAO. DAO means Decentralized Autonomous Organization, basically a giant investment club run by its members. And this DAO, it has this massive treasury, we're talking millions, that only invests in games that promise to use this Beam VIP lane.
Whoa. So it's not just about better tech, it's about the money. They're basically paying developers like $150 million worth of investment to use their system.
That's a huge part of the strategy, yeah. Now, how does the tech deliver that speed? Being an Avalanche subnet gives it that high performance. We're talking like 4,500 transactions per second, and transaction finality, knowing it's confirmed in about 1 second. That kind of speed gets rid of the annoying lag you saw in older blockchain games.
And the tools. You said developers need easy tools. What do they get?
They get a full package, an SDK software development kit that plugs into common game engines, like Unity and Unreal, easy integration, plus a ready-to-go NFT marketplace called Sphere. And this is important, they use something called Layer 0. Layer 0 lets those game assets, the NFTs, move between different chains, omni-chain they call it. So from their subnet maybe over to immutable zkEVM, for example.
Trey, Layer 0 sounds key for that chain agnostic idea. So let's boil it down. Practical benefits for users. For players, it's clear. Real ownership. Your items are NFTs, non-fungible tokens. You own them, you can trade them, sell them. For developers, they get the tech stack, yes, but also that huge financial incentive. Access to funding if they build on Beam.
But let's pause here. Is relying so heavily on that $150 million fund, isn't that just a form of, well, financial pressure, centralized pressure maybe? What if the money dries up? Or what if the games they fund just aren't any good?
That's a really good point, and it takes us right into the risks that the research flags. First up, competition. It's brutal out there. They're going up against giants like Ronin and, Axie Infinity and Immutable. They already have huge user bases.
Right, and the second risk is, looking at the numbers, their market cap is really high, but the actual money locked up in the system, the total value locked, or TVL, is tiny, like only $2.5 million, that big gap. It suggests the price is almost entirely based on hope, on future potential. It's very speculative right now.
Speculative is right. And the biggest risk, you mentioned it. Everything hinges on them launching a massive hit game. Or maybe two. If they don't get that blockbuster, then all this fancy infrastructure.
Yes.
It's just an empty VIP lane, right? An expensive one.
So Summing up this first beam, the Merit Circle one, it's ambitious, definitely,
Yeah.
backed by serious money aiming to change gaming infrastructure. But right now, highly speculative, low actual usage. Its value depends almost entirely on future hits landing.
Okay, gaming beam unpacked. Let's switch gears completely. Total opposite corner of the crypto world. The other beam, the privacy one. Based on Mimblewimble, what problem is this beam solving?
This one tackles financial privacy, or rather, the lack of it on most blockchains. Think Bitcoin, Ethereum, every transaction, who sent what to whom, how much, it's all public, forever, traceable. That erodes privacy, obviously. But it can also affect fungibility, the idea that one coin is identical to another. If a coin has a tainted history, maybe someone won't accept it. This beam says privacy should be the default.
Okay, privacy by default. How does it work? What's the simple idea, the analogy for this one?
Think of this beam like a digital vault. All your transactions, by default, are kept private inside. It uses some clever crypto so the network can verify transactions are valid without revealing the amounts or who is involved. It's private, like digital cash. But, and this is key, it has a special feature, opt-in auditability.
Opt-in auditability. That sounds interesting,
Yeah.
like a compromise, especially now with all the regulation talk.
It's definitely a pragmatic approach. It means you can choose to reveal specific transaction details to someone, like an auditor, maybe for taxes, or proving compliance to a regulator. But importantly, you only reveal what you choose to reveal. The rest stays private. The big goal here is to be a scalable base layer, layer 1, for something called confidential DeFi, private decentralized finance.
Okay, let's get into the how. How does it manage privacy and scalability?
It uses the Mimblewimble protocol, which is pretty smart for a couple of reasons. One, it keeps the blockchain small and efficient. It does this thing called cut-through, where it basically deletes old, spent transaction data. So no blockchain bloat over time. And two, for privacy, it doesn't store traditional addresses on the chain itself.
Right, so it stays lean because it cleans up after itself. But how does it hide the details if transactions are still happening?
That's where they add another layer of tech called Atlantis MW. This is what really boosts the anonymity. It works by pooling transactions together. Imagine throwing like up to 64,000 transaction outputs UTXOs into one giant pot.
Huh?
When money comes out of that pot, it's practically impossible to link it back definitively to where it came from. It creates this huge crowd to hide in.
Wow, okay, so small, fast, and very private. And you said it supports DeFi.
Yes, that's a major feature. They have the Beam virtual machine, which allows for confidential smart contracts. This means developers can build private DeFi apps. Think decentralized exchanges, lending, where not just the users, but also the amounts being traded or lent are kept hidden. Privacy for complex stuff, not just sending money.
That's quite a feature set. So for the user who cares about privacy, maybe a business user too, what are the main practical wins?
Well, the biggest one is privacy by default, right? Your financial dealings are shielded automatically. Plus, because of that Mimblewimble cut-through, it should stay scalable and keep fees lower in the long run. Avoids the bloat problem some other privacy coins might face.
And absolutely crucial, especially for businesses or institutions, is that opt-in auditability. It's explicitly designed to help them navigate regulations around AML, anti-money laundering, and KYC, know your customer. They can prove compliance for specific things, when needed, without opening up their entire financial history. But wait a sec. If you can opt in to reveal things, doesn't that undermine the whole point of absolute privacy? Isn't that kind of, well, giving in to regulators? Does it weaken the core idea?
That's the tension, absolutely. It is a compromise. It's designed for survival in a regulated world. They're trying to walk this incredibly fine line, offer strong privacy for individuals, but provide a compliance path for institutions. But you're right, that compromise leads straight to its biggest risk, the existential threat from regulators.
The delisting risk, getting kicked off exchanges.
Exactly. Like other privacy coins, BeamMW is constantly under threat of being removed from major centralized exchanges. That's the #1 challenge. Regulators generally prefer transparency, not privacy by default. It puts them in the same tough spot as coins like Monero.
And what about its place in the market? Competition.
Well, it's up against much better-known privacy coins like Monero and Zcash, which have been around longer. Plus, because Mimblewimble is different, it's not standard EVM tech like Ethereum uses. That makes it harder to integrate with common crypto wallets, explorers, developer tools. It adds friction.
Okay, so let's summarize the second beam, the MW1. It's technologically sophisticated, built for scalable private DeFi. But its key feature, that opt-in auditability, is both its unique selling point and the source of its major regulatory vulnerability. a real double-edged sword.
Okay, wow. We've definitely untangled two very, very different projects sharing the same name. So to really boil this down for everyone listening, if you had to pick just one key fact, one core competitive advantage for each beam, what would it be?
Okay, one fact each. For the gaming beam, Merit Circle, its advantage is almost purely financial and maybe jurisdictional. It's got that $150 million DAO treasury, essentially buying adoption by funding games that use its platform. Think of it almost as an investment fund that happens to have a blockchain attached.
Right, the money play. And for the privacy beam, MW, its advantage is, I'd say, ideological, but technically compromised. It offers strong privacy by default, using Mimblewimble.
Mm.
But it couples that with the unique compliance-friendly feature of opt-in auditability. It's trying to be private and play nice with the rules.
So one bet's on cash and location, the other bet's on clever tech with a compliance escape hatch. Couldn't be more different strategies.
You know, this deep dive really highlights two fundamentally different approaches to building in the blockchain space.
It absolutely has. And if you're enjoying how we break down these complex projects into simple pieces, getting these kinds of reviews, make sure you subscribe to our channel, CryptoBox. We do all the digging through the research, so you don't have to.
Right. And as we wrap up here, maybe we can leave you, our listener, with one final thought, something that kind of connects these two totally separate beams.
Yeah. Both projects, despite being unrelated, are making big bets on how to survive what's coming. The regulated Web3 future. The gaming beam, Merit Circle, is using money and location, setting up its fund in Abu Dhabi, a potentially friendlier jurisdiction, hedging its bets that way. The privacy beam, MW, is hedging its bets, technologically building that compliance feature, the auditability, right into its core design.
So the question to maybe chew on is this. In the long run, facing inevitable regulation, which survival strategy will work better? The financial and jurisdictional maneuvering of the gaming beam, or the built-in technical compromise of the privacy beam? Food for thought.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining us on this slightly confusing but really fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, keep asking questions, keep digging deeper, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.